Okay, guys, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what we've been working on and what's coming in the coming weeks, starting on next Tuesday. So, historically speaking, we use paper maps, and then of course we got stuff like this, the Navionics maps. But then Google Earth really changed the game for us. So with Google Earth, when you want to look at something, you pull up a Google Earth image, and if you know how to operate Google Earth, I've got videos about it. You can also look at historical imaging. And so this is this particular area. This is the back of Stanley Creek at Pool. And if you jump back to November of 2011, when the lake was about 13 and a half feet low, this is what it looked like. Well, right now we've got an ideal situation at Rayburn. Now we're going to show you guys how to run some stuff, but we're also going to show you a lot of stuff just straight up for fishing. And this is what the back part of Stanley Creek looks like right now. And we shot a couple of areas that you're really going to be excited about. The canyons, Duranzo, the Harvey Creek area. I mean, just a lot of really cool stuff. Pofers. And this is that aerial footage from back there. We'll be overlaying it with some waypoints. We're going to show you guys how to run the long cut, how to run the Ewing cut, some dangerous areas. And this will be good stuff, not just for now, but way in the future, because as you know, it's 6 feet low. If there's water in there right now, that means there's really decently deep water later. So stay tuned.
All right, guys, day 2 at Whitney. So we had 13:30 yesterday. We're in 9th place. I think it's probably going to take, so Millender, who's a good fisherman,
Sean, you better come on.
are leading with 23 pounds. They got a big lead, and it falls to 20. But I think they're probably only paying. We did not side pot this one. So I think they're probably going to play 3 or 4 places. So I think we probably got to catch 17 pounds to get a check. So we've decided not to start on the place we started yesterday. We culled 4 anyway, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we either culled 4 of those fish or all 5 of those fish back there on those shallow fish. So we're going to go back to those shallow fish today and just stay back there. There was another team back there with us that I don't know what they had. I'd love to know what they had, but I think they probably had more than us because we saw them catch a real solid 4-pound fish. But we're going to go just start back there. And I mean, there's no sense in going over there. And even though Terry caught a good one in practice over there, you know, we caught 5 or 6 keepers off that spot, and we culled almost all of them. So we're just going to go over there and take our chances because we got to have a substantially better weight today than we did yesterday, and I think that's probably the way to do it. So we've already done the prayer and the anthem, and now we're just waiting on enough daylight to get going. So as soon as he says go, we're going to roll out of here. Here's the field. We're gonna go as soon as we can. Y'all heard that. Terry's throwing a super fluke on 4-pound line trying to get a bite. So it's second day. It's 9, gosh, it's 9, almost 9:45. And this is what's happened so far today. Holy fucking me. Oh, we know it's you. All right. Nah, he's a keeper. Yeah, let's net him. That's a pretty good fish. So we had no idea, but come to find out, one of the top 5 boats is in here with us. So we took a lot of weight out of here yesterday between us. And you know, we probably caught a dozen keepers yesterday. I'll be curious when I go through the footage how many we actually caught. But we have not seen really, we were seeing fish pushing those shad around. Now it's been really this morning, but we saw those fish pushing shad around. And you know, yesterday we basically all day threw 98% of the time either a walking bait, or Terry threw a big swim bait, or I threw we both threw a whopper plopper a little bit. But we're not seeing any activity. So what we've decided to do, so these are just little drains that run into these flats, and like we're sitting in what, 5 or 6 feet of water?
Yep.
And it's a foot deep right there. So we're just fishing those little drops. And part of why we're doing that is when we fished up into that drain yesterday, Terry looked down and there's one little stop there, and there was about a 3-pounder just hanging on that stop. So, you know, there's really no place. I mean, all the way across that pocket, that's probably a mile across there. It never gets deeper than about 8 feet. So these fish aren't going very far. They're just, I'm sure, getting on these little sand and clay drops when they go dormant, and they've gone dormant today. So I told Terry, you know, we're not the only one struggling today. I guarantee you, everybody's bite slowed down. And, you know, like all lakes, when it gets dead calm, it gets tough. So Terry's throwing a split shot fluke, and I'm throwing not really on 4-pound line, and I'm throwing a Cinco, and we're just literally soaking it, hoping they come back up again and we start seeing movement. But if we don't, trying to pick off those fish that are just kind of hanging out here. So 9:40, we need to get busy, because now I'm going to say, unless something changes, our target weight for what it's going to take to get a check is going to drop. I'm going to say now it's probably going to be in the 27, 28 pound range, but that still means we got to catch what we caught yesterday again. So oh, there they are, Terry. First movement back there. That's in the back of that drain, and there's some movement. So I'm gonna stand up and fish, guys.
Get to that water. That's what we come bone fishing for right there. That's why we're here.
This is the depth of the water. That deep. So it's 11:20, and I just caught our third one you saw right here. Got him. Little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Little guy. He's keep, but he's a little guy. Yeah, let's net him. And he was just barely a keeper, and those fish had come up and knocked bait around and gone back down, and I had a crankbait out and got it reeled in and threw over there way late, and it still got him to bite. But everything we've seen today has been singles. We're not seeing really wolf packs like Terry had saw in practice until just a second ago. Both of us with long cast out to come out right here behind us, and it was a wolf pack. There was 3 or 4 fish. We didn't get a good cast on them, but start wolf packing a little better, we can catch them. And what we've done is we've just power poled down, and I mean, well, I'll show you how shallow we are. So we're sitting right on top. So we're super shallow. It's even shallower. There's a little bay there, but there's just big clouds of shad back here moving around. And what's crazy is a few minutes ago, Terry said, look there, and there were 2.5, 3-pound fish just cruising slowly by us, and I dropped a Cinco on them, and they had 0 interest. They're so locked on for those shad and busting those shad. I mean, and I told Terry, I said, I can't remember the last time I saw a fish and dropped a Senko on it and didn't catch that fish. They just have no interest in something other than that wolf pack. And you know, probably the smartest thing would be just to stand, I mean, not wolf pack, but those big wads of bait. Probably the smart thing would be just to stand here and wait for them, but I just can't do that. I got to keep a bait in the water because you just never know when that random, I may not get a cast on them like we did earlier, but you also catch a random 6-pounder every once in a while throwing that top water, just pull it over his head. So we finally got a little bit of breeze. We've still got time. We got, you know, 3 hours, but we probably gotta replace everything in the live well. I mean, yeah, 2 more will get you a limit, but we need 5 more. We need 5 solid fish to have a chance at a check, even though I think it's gotten a lot tougher. So the 2 guys that were in here with us yesterday just went by us and they saw me catch that last fish, and I'm guessing they're not catching them because they both been throwing the same bait the entire time, and he sat down and tied on a walking bait. So they were locked in yesterday throwing 1 bait when we saw them, and they're not throwing, I think one of them still throwing, but the other one's throwing a walking bait. So I'm guessing they're having a hard time today as we are. So, but promise you, it ain't for lack of trying. Terry said his forearm's about to fall apart from throwing that big swim bait. And my wrist feels like I got parts missing from throwing this walking bait. So 2 old guys are getting beat up out here. But a little blast of 4 or 5 pounder adrenaline would sure enough help. I just need Senorita 5 pounder to come up there and smoke it. It was just a single. No, I don't. Yeah, dude. That's a better fish. That's a way better fish. I think he's foul hooked. Be real careful with this one. He's not fighting right. Yeah, he's foul hooked. Missing one eye. Man, he is hooked. A lot of ways. Get it. I'll be back fishing in a half an hour when I get my.
Take your Advil.
Do what?
Take your Advil.
Take my Advil, he says. I literally turned the camera off, turned it back on, and caught that fish. I don't know if y'all could see that or not, but that fish was actually foul hooked. He swiped at it, didn't get it, but I got a hook in him. That's why I quit fighting him so hard. I didn't want to pull him free. Got lucky there. It's 4. $11.25. I just told Terry I can't believe a striper hadn't whacked that crankbait. I'm throwing that citrus said C10 down there in about 7 feet of water. Bonk. That and drilled it. Well, it's almost 3. We got maybe 5 minutes left to fish. We've only got 4. You know, at 10:50, we caught our 4th one, and I thought, okay, we can sure enough finish this off. But man, it just shut down. We actually saw 2 fish get caught this afternoon. But I think we maybe saw 2 more fish even move after that. And so we're gonna weigh them just because we're here. But we're gonna miss a check by a bunch. I'm gonna predict 28 pounds to get a check. 16 was getting the check yesterday, and you double it, take a couple pounds off, and I think the fishing was quite a bit tougher. So maybe 30, but 26, and we're gonna have, or 28, we're gonna have right at 20, I think. So, unless one commits suicide, or at least supposed to go on a boat ride.